And good morning, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don in here with you on your Sunday morning. It is 4:16 a.m. Central, 5:16 a.m. Eastern. On January 18th, 2026, we are watching for a winter wonderland across portions of Alabama and Georgia this morning. So what has happened since the last time we were together several hours ago? Well, the National Weather Service offices out of Tallahassee and Atlanta have made some adjustments to the winter storm watches or the winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories. And here's the latest you see there on the screen. We have upgraded in Alabama those areas there in extreme southeast Alabama, and we're talking about primarily Dothan, back over toward Geneva, up to around Abbeville, Houston, Henry counties there in extreme southeast Alabama, and a couple of others have now gone under a winter storm warning for the possibility of up to 3 inches of snow. And then in Georgia, we have carried that on over to places like Blakely, Dawson, Albany, up toward Cordele, Fort Valley, Perry, Georgia, all the way east over to Dublin, now under a winter storm warning. I think that there will be a swath of heavier snow that will run from about Geneva over to around Dothan to about Blakely, up to around Albany, and then Cordele. And Cordele may end up being ground zero for this entire event. 3 to 4 inches kind of look likely in that corridor that I just mentioned to you. And Cordele probably on the higher end of that because temperatures will be colder longer in that area there, about halfway between Macon and Moultrie, for there to be a pretty good little accumulation of snow down there in South Georgia. Just weird talking about that this morning. That's supposed to be happening up here in the Northeast Georgia mountains, not down on the coast. But yeah, here again, here we are. So as we look up into East Alabama and West Georgia, we have that winter weather advisory now in effect from Troup County over to Meriwether County and then south in West Georgia. That includes Troup, Meriwether, and Harris County of the Dr. Don coverage area. It goes all the way down to Columbus. And in those areas, dusting to 1 inch, certainly plausible. I think you're probably on that dusting side of things up there in LaGrange. And then by the time you get down to Columbus, you could see up to, a half to 1 inch of snow accumulation possible. And then when you get south and in east of Columbus, that's when we start to get into the 1 to 3 inch category of accumulating snow. And if you're up there in Atlanta, this gets awfully close to you. Maybe the southern suburbs could see a dusting to a half inch, and then all the way over to the I-20 and maybe up to the I-85 corridor up there in East Georgia as we get into your Sunday morning. So those are the latest advisories. Now I want to switch over to the radar and show you what radar is depicting at this hour. Hold the phone, Randolph County. Don't get too excited. As we zoom in, radar at this hour is saying that it is snowing. Really from northern Autauga County all the way through Coosa, up through up through Clay, and even into Randolph County. We're showing radar is saying that it's snowing from about Roanoke all the way up to I-20. And then if you look over here in Georgia, radar says that we have snow falling in northwest Heard County and from about Carrollton all the way up to around Rome. It also says that we have snow falling across the Appalachian Mountains up here in northeast Georgia, and it says that we have rain falling across southern White County. I am in southern White County, and I can verify there's nothing falling from the sky. So I don't think that this snow that the radar is depicting is actually making it to the ground across East Alabama. I'm seeing some of you verify that in the chat room. Miss Sylvia is saying no snow in Rock Mills, not snowing in Rock Mills. So this radar shot says that you actually should be having some rain in Rock Mills. So do you have anything at all falling from the sky in Rock Mills? If you'll answer that question for me, we'll see what your answer is. But right now, I think what's happening, we have, and Amber's confirming it's not snowing in Roanoke either. Radar says it should be raining in Roanoke, not snowing. The snow would pick up about Needham's Hill all the way up to around Wedowee. All right, so Celia says there's absolutely nothing falling from the ground, which confirms my suspicion that it is snowing and it is raining in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but there's a lot of dry air from the surface up to about 9,000 feet, and so this is evaporating. Now, here's what happens when this starts to happen. We start to see evaporational cooling, which is really a good thing because it continues to lower your temperature. Now, if you'll look, we've got 34 degrees up there at Anniston. We have 36 degrees down here in LaGrange. So Roanoke is probably somewhere around 35 degrees right now. And so as this evaporational cooling continues to happen, moisture's falling through the upper levels of the atmosphere and evaporating. Evaporational cooling is taking place, up there at around 8,000 feet. That layer will continue to lower until we actually get precipitation all the way to the ground. Not happening just yet. So I'd love to hear from some folks over in Clay, northwestern Tallapoosa, back into Coosa, maybe southern Chilton County or northern Autauga County. So if there's anybody in the room with us this morning, I'd love to see your reports. All right, Celia says 34, so that's plausible. I said 35, so I missed it by 1 degree. That's pretty good, huh? So you're close. You're very, very close. We've got to get the temperature down to the dew point, and then we start to get snow making it all the way to the ground. And so we're just not quite there yet. Let's see. Nothing happening in Fredonia. Amber confirms nothing happening in Roanoke. Nothing happening in Roanoke. All right, Robert is reporting nothing happening in Salem. That's down there off of 280, just below Opelika. Right now, nothing's happening down there around the I-85 corridor. That's where Salem is just below I-85, and they're reporting nothing happening there. Bobby says it is 33 degrees. Where you at, Bobby? I can't remember. Oh, Fredonia, I got you. I want to zoom back out and show you the big picture. No question, I mean zero question, the better moisture is down here in middle Georgia. All those yellows that you see right there, that's where the better moisture is. And that is the exact area where we anticipate getting the best snow. You bring that up, we can see that a little bit better. This region right here. That's where the best moisture is, and that's where we anticipate seeing measurable snow, which should begin in the next couple of hours in this area. All right, so here's the first report. Carrie Singleton is reporting flurries in Roosterville at 32 degrees. So that's up here. You're right there on the rain-snow line. around Roosterville. That's the only report I see so far. Nothing in Franklin. If they're very light flurries, they probably won't show up. But Carrie, if it's where you can, if you can snap a couple of photographs of that and send it to pix.drdonwx.com. I'd love to see that and show that this morning here on Dr. Don's Weather. All of you, if you start to see flurries or snow, please send them to me at pix.drdonwx.com. It's right there on your screen. And we'll rack those things up and get them on the air this morning. Looking at the rest of North Georgia, again, radar is showing some scattered flurries across northwest and up here in the northeast Georgia mountains. But again, checking observations, I can't see any confirmed reports that anything's actually happening. We're sitting up here with cold enough temperatures, but we don't have the moisture to work with. I mean, we're down to 28 degrees up at Blue Ridge at the moment. It's 34 degrees here at the Dr. Don Studios in southwest White County, and it's showing that we have moisture over us, but, nothing's making it to the ground. And I'm going to take you out to I-20 at the Alabama-Georgia state line. This is at I-20 East, just before State Route 100, there in Haralson County. And as you can see, there's nothing happening there. If there are flurries right there, they are very, 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 very small. Wendy's reporting nothing in Valley. Monica says nothing happening in LaGrange. Colby is confirming nothing falling in Franklin. So the only ground truth report we have is from Carey. He says that they do have flurries at 32 degrees in Roosterville, over there in Carroll County. We'll go back to the radar. And again, I'll show you. We'll take it a close shot here. And there you have LaGrange. Now, LaGrange is saying nothing's happening there. I think just north of downtown LaGrange, you probably do have some sprinkles making it to the ground. You'll see right there at the end of that volume scan, those two yellow dots pop up. That's deeper moisture. That probably is making it to the ground. It would be in this region right here, from Hogansville back to the Alabama state line, just north of 109, just north of LaGrange. You probably do have some sprinkles making it to the ground there, and there could be a flake or two mixed in with it as well. All right, so Monica is reporting that her daughter is at the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, and she is reporting that there were a few light flurries just for a few minutes. That would be right up here. In this region. And that kind of goes along with what Carey's reporting. He was reporting a few light flurries there in Roosterville. So Roosterville up to around University of West Georgia at Carrollton. And that's some heavier liquid right there. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think that is plausible that we may have some there. I think we may have had some, too, right there around Needham's Hill on 431 in Roanoke. Now, it's moved on off to the east now, but if you'll look real close, I'm going to just stop the loop. Bring Roanoke back up here. Right there. Well, I tell you, we're looking for a needle in a haystack right now. That little area right there, which was at 352, which was several minutes ago. There may have been a little flurry activity that ran right across south central Randolph. They're just north of Roanoke. Hey, Robert, reporting from the Salem Auction House down there on Highway 431, just south of Opelika. Woodbury, Georgia, in the house. Again, we're looking at I-20 right at the Alabama state line. Radar says it's snowing. I don't see it. Evaporational cooling most likely still underway right there at that particular location. Question about Woodbury. Oh, let's see here. Oh, Opelika. Garrett Walker's asking a question about when could the snow start in Opelika. You're still at 36 degrees down there at Auburn. I think you're probably at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half away from seeing anything. I'm curious, is it raining? Is it doing anything at all there in Opelika? Same question for Georgetown, Eufaula. Charlie says it's still 40 degrees down there. I'm showing, let me go back to radar here. I'm showing 39 at Eufaula, so that's a good report, Charlie. And is it raining down there at Eufaula? Do we have any precipitation at all? Michael says they have snowflakes up at Hughley. That's interesting. All right, so you'll see some deeper moisture about to actually moving into that area. See those darker greens right there. Moving Hughley being right down here. Huh, interesting, Garrett, because my radar is showing rain. But it's most likely not making it to the ground. I'll tell you what we probably ought to do. Bear with me 1 second. We're going to switch over to Atlanta. Yeah. I'm really shocked that we're not seeing something right there in LaGrange. I mean, look at that. Got some pretty good reflectivity. Now just a little bit to the east and south of LaGrange. I'd be real shocked if that's not at least some ice pellets mixed in with some rain. All right, that's looking at East Alabama, West Georgia from Atlanta radar. And it's also saying that we have some light snow from just west of Roanoke down to about Alexander City. Inside that yellow of the that would be red there, Dr. Don. Inside that red circle that I just drawn on the screen, that would be very light. And again, good bit of that probably not making it to the ground, but that's according to radar this morning. Yeah, hit them woods there, Bobby G. Get the biggin. All right, so Robert now says that there are some very small, light snow flurries taking place there in Salem, right next to the Salem auction house. That would be right in here, maybe a little bit further south, right in there. Radar is depicting all of that as rain at the moment, but that doesn't surprise me. You have to understand, radar is looking up at about 4, 5, 6,000 feet. We've got a shallow layer of cold air down there. Then some of this transition could take place below that 5,000, 6,000 foot radar beam. Going to switch back to Birmingham. And let's take a look at Montgomery. All pretty much showing the same thing, except Birmingham and Montgomery not showing precipitation across Alabama and across Roanoke or Randolph County and Clay County. But now understand, it's looking at lower levels of the atmosphere. If we go back to, like Montgomery there is probably at about a 2,000 foot elevation, looking at about the 2,000 foot layer off the ground. It's not showing anything, which pretty much goes hand in hand with the reports we're getting. We switch back to Atlanta. That's looking a little higher in the atmosphere. And so it is seeing snow, but that snow's not making it to the ground. We go down here to Dothan and look back to the north. That would be even at a higher elevation. Nothing there, really. Well, let's go back to Montgomery. And let's look higher in the atmosphere. Look at that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. All right, so I'm looking at different levels of the atmosphere. We get back down to the 5-degree pitch, which is much lower in the lower levels of the atmosphere. Really don't see anything happening there. We go up to about the 9-degree pitch, and we are seeing snow across northern Randolph. We go a little higher. We keep going higher. And we start to lose the precipitation altogether. So that's about the best look right there. Yeah, so that's looking up there at around 9,000 feet. So we still have evaporational cooling taking place across East Alabama. So that's why we're not seeing a whole lot. Williams says that it definitely was sleeting. That would be called grapple, most likely. It's a mixture of ice pellets and liquid. On Lake Eufaula about an hour ago. Light snow in Hamilton, Georgia at the moment. Thank you, Dwayne. That's a good report over here in Harris County. One bad note for East Alabama. Notice this sharp cutoff right here of precipitation. Looking at this thing from the Montgomery radar. The better moisture is going to be lined up right there along the I-85 corridor, which is, for the last 48 hours anyway, has been the forecast for this entire event. Along and south and east of the I-85 corridor is where the best opportunity is going to be for measurable snow across East Alabama, even from LaGrange north. And from about Columbus north, back into Alabama. Flurries at best. Clay, Randolph, most of Chambers, Tallapoosa, Coosa, Elmore, probably most of Lee. Flurries at best here because you just don't have the moisture to work with. Now, we'll be watching this stuff back off to your southwest to see if that moves north, but you got to understand the entire system is moving east at the same time. So I'm not sure we get deep enough moisture across East Alabama to really see much of anything. No question the show is going to be down here in southwest Georgia, south central Georgia, from about Vidalia up to Macon, back down to Dothan, Albany, maybe just north of Douglas, Perry, Georgia, where the big fairgrounds are located down there. That'd be a good place to be this morning if you want to see measurable snow. One lonely snowflake in Cragford. That could have been a big bird with dandruff also. Garrett is reporting light snowflakes in Opelika. And now Nicole is reporting light snow in LaGrange. And you'll notice that deeper moisture right there coming out of Chambers County. I'm talking about that right there. And boy, it will get gone quick because it's not very wide at all. Moving in that direction. And there probably is some snowflakes making it to the ground right there. Bear with me just a second. We're going to see. Oh, yeah, we got flurries in Auburn. Hang on a second. We'll get this up here. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. So we do have some snow flurries falling in Auburn-Opelika area. This is looking at Toomer's Corner. The big win last night against South Carolina, so the trees are dawned in white. That was there before the snow started. And there you go. So Robert says it's snowing pretty good now in Salem. So from about Auburn, the campus of Auburn University, all the way down to around Salem, we are getting reports of snow. Here's the problem, folks. The ground is relatively warm in that area, so it's going to be kind of hard to get any accumulation on the roadway, which is a good thing. But the grassy areas, the rooftops on your cars, rooftop on your house, all of those cold surfaces could certainly accumulate a little snow this morning. It's snowing enough there in Auburn, the road is becoming wet. Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Been there, done that. Spent 3 months down there back in the late 90s. I know exactly where you are. Nothing but cold wind. We've got, I would call that a heavy flurry, maybe even a light snow shower there at Toomer's Corner in Auburn. But that is probably going to stop pretty quick because that's on the back edge of the better moisture shield that is moving off to the east rather rapidly. So I would not anticipate this to last but maybe another 5 or 10 minutes or so. And that is going to continue moving off to the east. This is the same band of moisture that's coming through LaGrange. Should be snowing in Lynette, West Point, Valley, Hughley, Casita, right there along that I-85 corridor. And just as I said that, the snow rate is slowing down considerably there in Auburn. Take you back over to the radar right quick. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is where we're getting snow right now. Now, and understand this radar is about 6 minutes behind real time. So this is going to be a little bit further east. Right in that little bitty narrow band right there where you see that heavy burst of moisture. That's where we're seeing those heavy flurries, maybe a light snow shower. And it's moving in that direction. Now, we could have some light snow falling. We had one report from Hamilton a few minutes ago, and there's Hamilton. So from Columbus to Hamilton, back to the Auburn-Opelika area, there could be snow showers all in those areas there. And look at that. Snow is all but gone in Auburn. So there you go, Auburn. That was your snowstorm for this event. It wasn't enough to get the ground wet. Unless we get another push of moisture, which, gotta be honest with you, it doesn't look likely. We're going to be looking back here to see what that area does. Does it continue working to the north? Does it make it up into East Alabama, West Georgia? That's a big question right now. And we put this in motion. I'll rock it back and forth. Yeah, that really is not making a northward push. That's kind of making a move on off to the east. Yeah, Valley, you better go outside and enjoy it. This may be all that you see. There's Valley, and here's the end of the snow. So what are we talking there? 10 miles maybe? So in another 10 minutes or so, the snow will come to an end. I mean, there's the next volume update, and it's right there along I-85. So you got about 5 minutes of flurries left in Lynette, West Point, Valley, Hughley, Langdale, Casita. And there's just no more moisture off to the northwest. Let me switch radars again. Let me go back to the composite. Yeah, the composite's trying to pick up a little more moisture back off to the west, but that's in the upper levels of the atmosphere. See, what's happening now, that colder air is filtering in. So that's evaporating that moisture on the backside. We got the deeper moisture moving into southeast Chambers, across central Troop, across central Lee. That is these darker green areas. Like right there, some deeper moisture. There's some right there. And you got some over here in Georgia where you see those dark greens. But on the backside of all this, the cold air is rushing in, and it's eroding the backside of the moisture. We're showing right at 32, 31, 32 degrees up there on I-20 around Leeds, Pell City, and we're still showing 40 degrees down here in Columbus. So that cold air from the northwest is blowing in up under this moisture shield, and it's eroding that moisture, evaporating that moisture. So that's why we're getting some snow making it to the ground over here, even though the radar's not picking it up. And we may still have some moisture falling out of the sky back across Randolph, Clay, and Coosa, but it's evaporating before it can make it to the ground. Light snow in Cragford. I hear you. All right, folks, if you're seeing snow and if it's enough to take a photograph of, please send it to pix.drdonwx.com. And we'll show those here on Dr. Don's Weather. So the National Weather Service has just extended the National Weather Service has just extended the winter weather advisory area in time. And so for Troup County, the winter weather advisory is in effect until 1 p.m. this afternoon. So we'll see what happens here. Weather Service is banking on we may see more precipitation across the Troup County area. Radar is not agreeing at the moment. Hey, Vin, thank you. Appreciate your kind words. Light snowflakes in Butler County, Alabama, starting to pile up on the vehicles. Hogtown says nothing's making it to the ground in Hogansville. No rain, no snow. Roads are completely dry in Roanoke. So Rhonda is going to give us updates. She's about to head out to Opelika, and I think that's perfectly fine at the moment. And will give us updates along the way. Now, listen, Rhonda, do not text and drive. Whoever your co-pilot is needs to handle that for you. Be safe. Another quick look at Auburn, and yep, the snow has completely ended there. About 20 minutes ago, we had a pretty good snow shower move through the Auburn-Opelika area, but it has since come to an end. Robert says it's snowing pretty good in Salem down there on 431, right below the Salem Auction House. That's some of that deeper moisture rotating through. Robert, if it starts to accumulate enough to take a picture of it, snap that picture on your phone and send it to pix.drdonwx.com. It's right there on your screen. All right, folks, I'm going to step aside and take a break for just about 3 or 4 minutes. Dwayne says it's coming down pretty good in Hamilton. Y'all send me some photographs, even some short videos. Get about 15, 20 seconds of video, and you can post it to pix.drdonwx.com, and we'll show them here on Dr. Don's Weather. I'm going to take a quick coffee break. I'm going to leave the feed up, and I'll be right back in about 5 minutes on Dr. Don's Weather. Stay with us. All right, good morning, East Alabama to West Georgia. Dr. Don back in here. It's 5:09 a.m. Central, 6:09 a.m. Eastern. We are watching snow break out across southeast Alabama over into West Georgia. Now, that stuff you've seen show up on radar just in the last couple of minutes. So rain is changing to snow quickly across portions of South Alabama, basically from Gulf Shores all the way back up to the I-185, I-85 interchange there in Troup County. Let's switch over to, let's see here. There we go. We're looking at, and let me work on something here. Let's see if we can get this looking a little bit better for you. Stand by just a second, and there we go. All right, so this is US 80 west at River Road, and this is down there in Muskogee County. This is just north of Columbus, and if you look real close, it's hard to see, but if you look real close over there at the top of the screen, in the lights there, the light post in that parking lot, you can see, and you can see that you can tell the road is wet too. We have snow falling, and we're seeing confirmed reports of that there on the north side of Columbus. And just bear with me as we look around here at a couple of different cameras. This is US 80 East, just before 2nd Avenue. And it is snowing there as well. You have to look real close to be able to see it. Going to adjust this in real time here. I'll take it full screen. Joshua says we have snow in West Point. We got a report from Orange Beach, Alabama. Snow on the beach. How about that? You don't see that very often. It's kind of hard to see on some of these GDOT cameras because it's still dark in some of those areas, but we'll get some sunlight up here in the next hour, and we'll be able to see a little bit better, I think. This is on 280 East at State Route 22 in Muskogee County. Let's run up to kind of hard to tell, but I think we got some pretty good snow right there in Harris County. This is at the Mulberry Grove, I-185 interchange. And it's really hard to tell, but it looks like I see artifacts in there that looks like it's snow falling right there in front of the lens of the camera. Again, it's still so dark, it's really hard to tell. But that looks like snow falling. I really, really, really need the state of Georgia to put lights up around these cameras so we can see. This is looking south off of I-185 at Georgia 116. This is also up in Harris County. And I would say, judging by the speed of these automobiles, we probably have some good snow falling right there. All right, this is West Point. This is I-85 North, the old West Point Road. Again, it's just still too dark to really see much, but you'll notice that the traffic's moving a whole lot faster right there than what we're seeing a little bit further to the south. I wish one of those cars would just stop right there. We could see. Okay, this is State Route 109 at the I-85 ramp. This is at LaGrange. And don't see anything happening right there. I see the roadway appears to be a little damp, but it looks like the snow maybe has come to an end right there. That's I-85 north at the Upper Big Springs Road. That's also in Troup County. All right, this is just south of Don't see anything there on Whitesville Road. All right, so it looks like the better snow is back down toward Columbus. Let's go take a peek at Americus. And you can see precipitation hitting the ground right there, but it looks like that may be a mixture of rain and grapple. Making a pretty good splash when the drops hit the ground right there. So there may be a little ice mixed in with that. That's in Americus. This would be an area to watch. We think that we may actually get some pretty good snowfall right here. We may have some snowflakes mixing in with it, too. If you'll watch that camera right there, every now and then you see what looks like a snowflake. All right, so Rhonda's reporting that coming from Roanoke to Valley, roadways are dry and clear. No rain, no snow, no nothing. Nothing. This is going to be a good camera for us a little later on this morning. This is State Route 27 at Lamar Street and Reese Street. This is in Sumter County, Georgia, down there around Americus. Vin's asking the question, do I think this is it for the season? No. We're just getting started. Now, will you get snow at your house for the rest of the season? There's no way to tell you that, but we have plenty of opportunities. We've got January, February, and early March to go before we're out of the woods. There's another look at Americus. This is State Route 27 at Tripp Street, Crawford Street. Yeah, that looks just, roadways just look wet there for the moment. Well, the camera's down in Perry, Georgia. Here's one that's working. Yeah, that'll be a good one to look at, too. That is State Route 7 at Hampton Court. That's in Houston County, Georgia. Down there close to the big fairgrounds there at Perry, Georgia. I think this area stands a good chance of seeing accumulating snow, maybe 2 inches or so. But for the moment, it looks like it's all rain. Snowing in northwest Florida. The link to share a video is, hold on. There it is. pix.drdonwx.com. Well, hello, Missy Strength. Nice to meet you. Where are you viewing from? So you see the latest radar there, showing where the snow is actually making it to the ground, and it is snowing now from about Orange Beach all the way up to just north of Columbus. All right, so Missy is in West Point, Georgia, or near West Point, Georgia. Cool. Missy, we share the same last name. Looking back at some of the cameras, we've got shot there in Macon, Georgia. This is at I-75 South at Wright Road. Arkwright Road, I guess that's what that says. Bibb County, Georgia, man. Looks like just the roads are wet there. Snow hasn't quite made it over to Macon. Rhonda says I-85 South roads are wet, but no rain, no snow, no ice. This is really setting up, I think the forecast is going to verify very well here. This is back in Columbus. This is State Route 1 at US 27. Harbleton Road. And it does look like we have some snow falling there. I wish I could show you some of the Alabama cameras, but for some reason, when you go to the Alabama site and pull up their video, it will not let me retransmit them, which is just ridiculous. I can see them on the screen, but I can't retransmit them. But this is in Columbus, and we definitely have some snow falling right there. State Route 22 US 80 West at 2nd Avenue in Columbus. All right, we've got some, I think we've got some I think we've got some photographs or some video here. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah. We'll see if we can get this racked right quick, and we'll show you what's going on. Let's see. Zeno reporting snow in Casita. All right, I got to switch back to the radar for a minute and go up here and see if I can get this video. All right, all right, folks. When you send me video, make sure you fill everything out so I know where you're sending it from. Okay, this is Hamilton, Georgia. All right. So Dwayne Harris has just sent us some video from Hamilton. Let's see if we can get this up here. Yeah, look at there. Look at there. Sideways, though. That's Hamilton, Georgia. Hey, look, when y'all shoot video, shoot it with the camera sideways, not up and down, if that makes sense. You want the camera to be horizontal, not vertical. I can fix that, but it'll take a minute to get that fixed. But that's some pretty good flurries right there in Hamilton. Got to turn your phone, turn your head sideways if you're holding your phone horizontal, and you can see what's going on here. Kathy Maxwell is reporting a few flurries down in Ozark. Rhonda says she's just past the Casita exit on 85 South. Everything's still dry and clear. Roads are still a little wet in Casita. Thank you, Dwayne, for sending us this video. We appreciate it. And there's a look at the live radar. And boy, this snow is setting up exactly where the models said that it would. Basically along I-65 in Alabama. That's the back end of it. And then right up that I-85 corridor to about LaGrange. And it is continuing to move off to the east. Now, Dothan is probably about to get hammered. And let's see if I can find my mouse. Where did my mouse go? Hello, mouse. There it is. Excuse me. There's a look at Dothan, Alabama. This is downtown Dothan, and it does appear that those are snowflakes falling. But Dothan is about to get some heavy snow. It's out there on the west side of Ross Clark Circle now. This is in downtown. This is a few miles to the east of where the heaviest snow is falling right now. We'll keep an eye on that camera. That right there is going to be solid white here in about an hour. I can almost guarantee you. And it looks like we're just now beginning to see those big, heavy, wet flakes fall there in downtown Dothan. Again, if you're just joining us, here is the latest update of the winter storm warning and the advisories. You see right there in southeast Alabama, Houston County, Henry County, Coffee County, all under winter storm warnings now. From Dothan, Highway 84 back over toward Enterprise and Elba. Winter storm warnings even down into Geneva. And then in Georgia, basically from Blakely all the way to Dublin, up to Macon, and down to about Tifton or Moultrie. We're under a winter storm warning. The blue counties are all winter weather advisories, and that does stretch all the way up into LaGrange and to the east almost all the way to Augusta, and then pretty much down to the Florida state line. In those blue county areas, just a dusting to a half inch or flurries to a dusting to a half inch are possible. You outlying counties up there, the last counties in blue to the north, places like LaGrange, Peachtree City, Covington, down to Barnesville. Yeah, you're probably just looking at flurries to just a dusting on the cold, grassy areas. But from Macon to Tifton and from Blakely to Dublin, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches are possible. And we could even see some localized spots hitting 4 inches before all is said and done. East Alabama, West Georgia, places like Lineville, Ashland, Roanoke, Alexander City, Lafayette, even on over into our West Georgia counties there at West Point, LaGrange, Franklin, up into Carrollton. We're just not looking at any meaningful snowfall for you guys. Could you see a passing flurry from time to time? Absolutely you could. But we're not looking at any accumulation up there. The best moisture is moving across southeast Alabama and will be moving into Georgia in the next couple of hours. And again, we're looking at downtown Dothan, Alabama, and the big, fat, heavy snowflakes are continuing to increase in time. We've got some really heavy snowfall just to the west of downtown Dothan. I'll take you back to the radar, and I'll show you here. We'll go into Dothan. So there's Dothan, Ross Clark Circle, That's 84 that goes back to Enterprise. And we have heavy snow now in Enterprise, and that's headed to Dothan. And there you go. That's downtown Enterprise, Alabama. If you look real close, I believe that is the monument there in downtown Enterprise. That is the only monument in the world to an insect. That is the monument honoring the boll weevil. Back in the day, this used to be cotton country in South Alabama. And the boll weevil came along and destroyed the cotton crops. So the farmers down there in South Alabama had to find something different to grow because they couldn't fight the boll weevil. So they started growing peanuts. And they didn't think they could make a lot of money doing peanuts, but as it turned out, that was the best thing that ever happened to Enterprise, Alabama, because now they are the home to Sessions Peanut Oil. Huge industry right there in Enterprise, Alabama. So they honor the boll weevil for making them change to peanuts. And that is the monument that you can faintly see right there in the middle of the intersection in downtown Enterprise. And that is a current live shot, and I'm afraid the lens is going to get covered with snow. They're going to have a hard time seeing the accumulation because this camera is looking directly into the direction the snow's coming from. Rhonda says downtown Opelika looks good. Nothing happening there. Missy says that her family is in Dothan. That's funny. I spent several years in Dothan and Enterprise myself. That would be fantastic, Missy, if you can send some video or some photographs. I'll put let me go back over here and grab the address and pop it right there. Put it in the lower right-hand corner. So there's the address to send your photographs and your video. Again, if you're just joining us, we're looking at downtown Enterprise, Alabama. Hey, Kathy, you say you're 20 miles from Dothan. Are you traveling to Dothan, or are you down there visiting, or is that where you live? Folks, listen, you know what? My brain cannot keep up with where everybody lives. So please, when you make a comment and you talk about a specific area, you're giving me maybe an update on what the weather's doing in that area. Please tell me where you are, and so that I'll know what we're talking about here. Kathy, I know you're in here all the time, but I just can't remember where you live. And so that shot is becoming useless awfully quick. That's some pretty heavy snow falling in downtown Enterprise, Alabama at this hour. And we, excuse me, we take you back over to downtown Dothan and beginning to see the same thing here. Those are some big, fat, wet snowflakes falling there in downtown Dothan. And it's going to get heavier than that here pretty quick. This is a camera from Cherry and Irwin trial attorneys there in downtown Dothan. Give them credit for this live video. This is outside of their office. I'm not sure exactly what road we're looking at, but it's downtown Dothan. Snowing sideways in downtown Dothan right now. Again, for you folks up there across most of our coverage area from I-20 down to about I-85, You just don't have enough moisture here to give you any decent snow. Now, you may see a flake flying here and there, but you're really going to have to go to the I-85 corridor and most likely south of the I-85 corridor to get into some decent snow. Looking at radar right now, from about Columbus all the way back down to about Pensacola, the back edge of the good snow, and that's pushing on into southeast Alabama and southwest Georgia. Heavy snow falling now in places like Enterprise, Alabama, Dothan, Alabama. It's going to start snowing pretty heavy in Americus, Albany, Macon, Perry, Vidalia, maybe down to Statesboro out there on I-16, and then eventually over into East Georgia. We've also got snow down there on the I-10 corridor, too. Marianna, Florida. Stretching back over to about Crestview. Wind is blowing pretty good in Ozark. We do not have snow in Blue Ridge, Daryl. You guys have got all the moisture down there. We have the cold temperatures in place, but we just don't have any moisture to work with up here in the northeast Georgia mountains. And I'm afraid this camera's going to get to where we can't use it either. The lens is getting covered up with snow. That's back over in Enterprise, downtown Enterprise, Alabama. It's kind of hard to see, but there's some good snow falling right there. Somebody run up there and wipe the lens off on that camera, please. We need a little windshield wiper. WKMX used to be in one of these buildings right here. I think it was that one you can barely see off in the distance. I'm not sure they're still there anymore. That was back in the 80s and 90s when I was down there. That's where the radio station used to be. Daryl still reporting snow at Smith Station. Thank you, Missy. I appreciate that. Well, thank you, Rhonda. I appreciate your kind words. Not sure what I said, but I appreciate it. Oh, look at here. I think we've got some accumulation. This is State Route 22, US 80 east before 2nd Avenue. This is Columbus. And it looks like we have accumulating snow on the grassy areas. Lisa, Troup County, probably not going to see much more. I mean, a flurry is certainly possible. A snow shower is possible. The further you go south in Troup County, the better the chances are. I think right there in LaGrange, maybe some flurries. That's going to be about it. Chambers County, right down there in the southeastern corner. Maybe Valley, West Point. Hughley, Langdale, Casita could see a dusting maybe. But for the rest of Chambers, up into Randolph, Clay, Tallapoosa, Coosa, and Talladega, and then in Georgia, Hurd and Carroll, and for the most part, Coweta, probably not going to see much more than just some occasional flurries. It's not completely out of the question. You could see some light accumulation on grassy areas, but no meaningful snow accumulation in those places. So Rhonda is advising very windy in Opelika and a drastic temperature change, getting very cold. Well, that is that drier, cold northwest air, the Arctic air that's rushing in behind the precipitation. And temperatures, especially if the wind's picking up, it's going to certainly feel colder than it has, but the temperatures are also dropping as well. I mean, we're already 28 degrees over in Tuscaloosa. It's 27 in Meridian. And 30 for the most part up there along the I-20 corridor. So that Arctic air is barreling in here. Now, what's going to happen as that really cold Arctic air moves in? It will wring every last drop of moisture out of the air. So as that cold Arctic air blows in from the northwest, up there across Talladega, Clay, Randolph, Coosa, Tallapoosa, most of Chambers, Carroll County, Hurd County, Coweta County, that's when you could see those flurries as we get that really cold air blowing in from the northwest. And that cold air is going to wring all the moisture out of the atmosphere. You're looking at Columbus, Georgia. That is US 80 east before 2nd Avenue. That's on the north side of Columbus. And we do have accumulation there in the grassy areas. And that's a pretty good look at where the actual snow is falling right there. So we've got snow from really South Atlanta down through Griffin, Thomaston, Columbus, Eufaula, Dothan. Snow should be letting up a little bit there in Enterprise now. The heaviest snows there around Dothan, Eufaula, and Columbus. And that is Columbus you're looking at on the screen. Switch back over to the radar and show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to the north. So really from about Peachtree City up to Covington, over to Jackson. This is in Georgia. Thomaston, down to around Butler, Columbus, just to the west of Americus. We could have some snow falling in Americus now. Eufaula, Cuthbert, that's a good snow coming in there on 27, up to around Richland. Abbeville, Alabama, Blakely, Georgia, rain should be changing to snow. Deep snow now moving through Dothan, all the way down to Geneva, Alabama. And then we have that snow across I-10 from Crestview, Florida, all the way over to Bonifay. And we're kind of getting out of the radar reaches there. Let me switch to Tallahassee. And, that lines up pretty good. Crestview to about Bonifay. And then all the way out into the Gulf of America. It's snowing at Fort Walton Beach right now. Snowing in Niceville. Snowing at Freeport. That's right there where 331 dumps out on 98 there at Freeport. I was almost a resident of Freeport. Well, actually, I was almost a resident of Seagrove Beach, Florida, back in the late 70s. I would have gone to school up here at Freeport. Totally different area now. Snowing at Defuniak Springs. Graceville, Florida, about to get in on the action. Coffee Springs, Geneva, Slocum, Newton, Enterprise. Maybe some flurries up here at Elba and Ozark. Snow moving into Headland right there on 431. West side of Dothan out there on the Ross Clark Circle, up 231 and 84 back toward Enterprise. Heavy snow. Snowing there in Abbeville. Probably some light to moderate snow in Eufaula now. And then up there around Casita. That's Casita south of Columbus. We have two of those. Let's go back to the Montgomery radar. There we go. I'll put that in motion. And that's what we're looking at this morning. Hey, yeah, Regina. There's the Miss What About lady. You had some flurries up there a couple of hours ago, but I mean, I think there was 4 snowflakes that fell in Randolph County around 3 a.m. this morning. Yeah, remember the great snow blizzard of 93 was in March, late March, as a matter of fact. So it ain't over until it's over. And we have a chance all the way through March, early April, across East Alabama and West Georgia. Snowing in Pike County, Georgia. Cool. Well, you're looking at Columbus. No, you're not. You're looking at the radar. Now you're looking at Columbus. And you can see the ground is white there. It looks like a dusting, but it's still snowing pretty good there at Columbus. And that is over on the west side of Columbus. It's US 80 East, just before 2nd Avenue. It's on the north side of Columbus, north and a little bit west. I can tell you this much. You keep going the direction of that car right there, and you go on and go under I-185 to the first exit to the right, and when you get off that ramp, you take a left, and the first red light on the right, there is a Krispy Kreme. I can't tell you a whole lot about Columbus, but I can tell you where the Krispy Kreme's at. My sister-in-law lives, through the woods, probably about 10 miles north and northeast of where this camera is located. And it's a tradition. Got to go to Krispy Kreme when I'm down there. Good thing I don't have a Krispy Kreme up here in northeast Georgia. Yeah, Regina, I think we counted 4 flakes. One of them was you. Just poking at you. I'll do it. You get me some live video of that snow machine going in your front yard, and we'll go live and we'll cover it. And I agree with Rhonda's comment about your pets. If you have outdoor pets, they get cold just like humans do. They're not used to this cold weather, so make sure they're taken care of. Yeah, Brandy, we did. We came very, very, very close this time. But the forecast is panning out exactly like we thought it would, where the better snow is taking place in southeast Alabama and will continue on across South Central and South Georgia today. I think the 1 to 3 inch snowfall possibilities will be from Macon down to about Albany, and then over to about Vidalia up to around Augusta. Maybe somewhere around Cochran, Georgia, Perry, Georgia. Those areas are right there in the middle of where I think the bullseye is going to be for the greatest amount of accumulation with this event. You're looking at Columbus. No question, the ground is white down there. It's been snowing in Columbus now for well over an hour. And that's US 80 East, just before 2nd Avenue, there on the north side of Columbus. And it is still snowing pretty good there. But the snow will be coming to an end right here at this camera within the next 30 minutes. So we're not going to see a tremendous accumulation there. Of course, it's hard to tell exactly how much is on the ground. If you'll look there in the median to the right there where that off-ramp is, you can see that there's actually snow accumulating there on the pavement. Now, the roadway where we've got traffic, it's not accumulating. That's just wet. And then you look out in the middle of the divided highway where the grass is, and you can't see any grass. Now, we're going to get the sun up here in just a few minutes, and we'll get a better look at this. But it looks like maybe a half inch. I don't know. We need somebody there in North Columbus to go outside and measure this and send me a picture of it. All right, I'm going to take another quick break, coffee break, coffee/potty break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. I'm going to leave this live shot of Columbus, Georgia, up on the screen while I take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll We'll go around and look at some other cameras around Columbus, and then we'll go a little bit south and we'll check back in with Dothan. Don't forget, if you're in an area where it is snowing, to take some video and or photographs and send those to me at pix.drdonwx.com. And we'll get those up and we'll show them to everybody. Yeah, you have to look close, but you can see the snow when a car comes by. We're beginning to get the sun up down there now, so should be a little easier to see here in the next 30 minutes or so. All right, going to take a quick break. I'll be right back. Y'all stay with us on Dr. Don's Weather. right, Dr. Don back in here with you on your Sunday morning. It's a snowy Sunday morning in places across Georgia and Alabama. We're looking at Columbus, Georgia. Some folks are saying that they're having a hard time uploading the photographs to us. Working fine on my end on my phone. Did try it on my main computer, and I did get an error, and it's telling me it's because I'm behind a firewall. So your phone should work fine, but if you do have a firewall running or a VPN running on your phone, that may be what the problem is. But I can get to it just fine on my phone, so if you want to give it a try, pix.drdonwx.com is the site. You see the sun coming up there. This is US 80 East, just before 2nd Avenue there on the north side of Columbus. And you see the ground is white. No question about that. Now, the snow's coming to an end in Columbus, but they have included Columbus in the winter storm warning. So that's an upgrade. So Columbus is now under a winter storm warning for the possibility of some driving issues over the next hour or so. And that roadway's wet, and the temperature is going to be dropping pretty quick, so there could be some slick spots there in Columbus. Be real careful. I'm going to take you back over to the radar, and you can kind of see where the snow is and where it ain't. And where it ain't is across most of East Alabama and West Georgia in our coverage area. The snow is coming down pretty good from about I-20 just east of Atlanta, all the way down to downtown Columbus and to the east. Snow slowing down now in Eufaula, heavy snow in Dothan. Probably got some snow all the way over to about Albany. Those dark greens and the yellows that you see there is probably snow. Radar having a hard time picking up exactly where that snow line is at the moment. Let's see if we can find, we're getting some reports of some pretty good snow in Ozark, Alabama. Let's just see. If we can find a camera in Ozark. Maybe we can. Won't go full screen for me, but I think we do have it here. Let's see if we can get it pulled up. And that's not a good look, but at least you can kind of see what's happening there in Ozark. All of the tops of the buildings are white. You can see off in the distance the trees are becoming covered in white. Dwayne's reporting 1/4 of an inch in Hamilton, Georgia, over toward Pine Mountain. That's over in northeast Harris County. And I apologize for not being able to get that any bigger, but for some reason it will not let me go full screen. But that's downtown Ozark that we're looking at. If you're in Ozark and you have a better link to a better video view, send it to me here in the chat, and we'll show it. Here's Enterprise. You can see the ground is covered there at the Enterprise Electric Cooperative. That's downtown Enterprise. there at the Boll Weevil Monument. Here's Flowers Hospital. That's out there on 84 between Enterprise and Dothan. And mostly the grassy areas. See, the parking lot's not covered in snow, but you look out there in the grassy areas, rooftops, and we do have accumulation there, and it's still snowing pretty good. That's Flowers Hospital on 84 between Enterprise and Dothan. That's downtown Dothan, but the lens is covered, so can't really see anything there. There's the forecast, by the way. High temperature of only 41 degrees across most of East Alabama and West Georgia today. And we head off into the deep freeze tonight. 24, your overnight low. We'll be basking in tropical heat of 45 tomorrow. And then the coldest night, 21 on Monday night. And then a slow moderation. Maybe some rain Wednesday night. 33, close call right there, but that doesn't look like a major deal. That's not going to be a low-pressure system. That's going to be a front coming in from the northwest, and those typically don't give us much moisture, and probably the moisture's gone before we make it to 33, so I don't see any dangers on Wednesday night. Then by Friday, another system moves in, and that's just way out there in voodoo land, too early to talk about that. There's the radar, current radar showing where the snow is and where it isn't. Most of East Alabama, West Georgia, between I-85 and I-20, no snow. You had a few flakes flying around earlier. One of them was Regina Smith. But since then, the snow has moved on off into middle Georgia, south central Georgia, and southwest Georgia, and southeast Alabama. All right, I'm trying to find a live camera there at Pine Mountain or Hamilton. If anybody's got a link to one, pop it in the chat room. All right, Dwayne says that he had to send the pics.drdonwx.com in a Facebook message. Then he was able to go into that and send the message and gain access to the form to submit the pictures of the video. That's really strange, Dwayne. I'm going to have to check into that because I can go straight to it on my phone for some reason. I'll investigate that and see what the deal is. I mean, that's a Google form, so it's accessible. I don't understand what the issue is there. Phoenix City, Opelika, the roads are fine. Again, if anybody has a link to a camera in the Pine Mountain, Hamilton, Callaway Gardens area. Pop it in the chat here and I'll show it. I'm looking, and so far I haven't found anything. All right, this is I-185 north of Columbus, and you can see a little whiteness in the grass. This is I-185 south past State Road 18 there in Harris County. So that's close to the exit where you turn to go back to Pine Mountain, but over there, Pine Mountain elevation is a little higher, so I would expect more than this over there. But this is in the general vicinity of Mulberry Grove, or the exit where you turn off of I-185 to go back to West Point, right there. What's that steakhouse that everybody goes to? The Hole in the Wall Steakhouse. This is very close to that area. There's I-185 south, just past Edgewood Road. This is in Muskogee County, and you see the trees are absolutely covered. But the roadway looks fine. And it appears the snow has just about come to an end, and that correlates very well with what we're showing on radar. Hunter's Pub, that's it. Thank you, Joyce. I've never eaten there, but I want to really bad. My sister-in-law doesn't live far from there, and so we go by it all the time because typically we go stay with her there in Harris County, and then we will come over to East Alabama to hang out with the fam. So that's the exit we take off of I-185 coming back to Alabama. I've heard that was the place to eat a steak. This is just south of Columbus. This is I-185 north at State Route 22. Again, the trees are covered in snow. There is some accumulation on the grassy areas, but the roadway looks fine. This is 280 south of Columbus. Just before I-85. And I do see a little slush on the roadways there. And some pretty good accumulation on the power line, too. Actually, that's a phone line, phone cable. But you can see the snow has piled up there. Trees are covered in snow. Rooftops are white. Grassy areas have a dusting. That vehicle just drove through the intersection. The light was, he made it. You can see the tops of the vehicles have maybe an inch or so on them. But it doesn't look like it's snowing right there, and that is south of Columbus. This is over in Taylor County. This is Butler, Georgia. It is State Route 96, Fall Lane Highway at State Route 3 in Broad Street over in Taylor County. And it's still snowing pretty good right there. Same story, though. Grassy areas are covered in snow, but the roadways look to be okay. Trying to look at some cameras in Thomaston. Here we go. We got one that's going to work. There's Thomaston, Georgia. This is State Route 3 and North Church Street at Walmart Deluxe Circle. There in Upson County. And it is still snowing there. All right, let's check out Americus. Oh, it's snowing big time in Americus, Georgia right now. This is State Route 3 at MLK Junior Boulevard at State Route 27, Lamar Street. This is in Sumter County, Georgia. Americus, Georgia, waking up to some pretty good snow this morning. And this is Macon. It looks like we're still primarily rain in Macon. There could be a flake or two mixed in, but right now it looks like it's still mostly rain in Macon. Now, that's just northwest of Macon. We got snow on the ground there. This is I-475 south. Mile marker 9.1 there in Bibb County. Now, this is in the area where we think we may see the 2 to 3 inch accumulation, perhaps even a little bit more than that. Question about Coweta County. Don't anticipate anything up there in Coweta County. You could see a flurry when the cold air starts rushing in, and that should start happening in the next hour. That cold air will wring out every drop of moisture the atmosphere has to offer. So you could see some flurries, but I wouldn't anticipate any meaningful snow across Coweta County. All right, this is at the intersection of 75 and 475 there on the north side of Macon. This is just south of Forsyth, Georgia. And the ground is white there. This is in Monroe County. For those of you who know where the Georgia Public Safety Training Center is located, this is just south of there, maybe by about 4 miles. Let's see what it's doing in Forsyth. Yeah, it looks like it's coming a blizzard. That's right there at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. Gypstick. All you can see is headlights. I think this is going to be a better look. Look at that. I-75 South, Johnstonville Road. That's right there at Forsyth, Georgia. Hey, Gene, watching us from Walton County, Georgia. Down there just north of I-20. Gene, this shot that you're looking at through the woods, probably about 50, 55 miles, maybe 60 miles south of you. But unfortunately, it's not coming your way, Gene. And I don't know if you take that as a good thing or a bad thing. But again, you can see the roadways are in pretty good shape. I see a little bit of slush over there in the suicide lane. But for the most part, the roadway looks to be okay. I don't know that I'd be driving as fast as some of those cars are, but well, that's actually Jibstick. You can see the water tower off in the distance if you look real close. That is looking back north, right there at State Route 42 on I-75 in Monroe County, Georgia. That is Forsyth, Georgia. You watch the documentary, the series, the Little Johnstons. This is where they're from. I got to tell you, I didn't think that they would get a really good snow right there. I thought it would be down toward Perry, and I think Perry is going to get a good one, but that's a pretty good snow happening right there at the Georgia Public Safety Training Center in Forsyth, Georgia. You'll look top of the screen left, right up under the N. Let me move the banner here just for a second. Put it down here in the corner. If you look real close, you can see the water tower there at Jipstick. If you're in public safety in Georgia, you know where that's at. That's where we do all of our training. I have spent many, 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 many days at that facility. More than I care to even think about. And that is going to be that's in Forsyth. That is on the south side of town. That's at Joliet Road. I think that's the exit where the Shoney's, there's not many Shoney's left in this world. I think that's the exit. If that's not the exit with Shoney's, that's within one exit of that exit. I'm just trying to find some good cameras we can actually see. Down in the heaviest snow area. This is I-475. This is the bypass that goes around Macon. This is just past Estes Road. That's on the northwest side of Macon. Yeah, Gene, if you're originally from Wisconsin, I understand. you You probably don't want to see any more snow. I get it. But we've got snow falling in areas it just ain't supposed to happen. And this is the second year in a row that this has happened down there. And we've got nothing up here on the north end. I'm sitting up here in the northeast Georgia mountains within about 10 miles of the Appalachian Trail. And we got zero. All of the moisture is going to stay well south of us up here. Oh, we could have a flurry a little later on today when the temperature starts to drop, but we're not looking at anything like this. This is down in south central Georgia. We have viewers down in Fort Valley. Well, their camera's not up. There's one right there in Houston County, not very far from Fort Valley. And you can see the snow really has just started there. The ground is not covered just yet. Here's Warner Robins at Robins Air Force Base. And it looks like some pretty heavy snowfall right there, but the ground's not covered just yet. That's at State Route 247. 247 and 247C, I think. This is at Warner Robins at the Air Force Base. Let's see if we can tell how far east the snow has moved. All right, so this is over at Dublin off of I-16. And that camera doesn't want to load. Nor does that one. Oh, here we go. All right, so that's right there on I-16 at Dublin. I really can't tell what's happening right there. Looks like it may be a rain-snow mix. That is downtown Dublin. Obviously, we don't have any snow cover, but it does look like there may be a few flakes mixed in. So let's come back up 16 and see. So this is just east of Macon on I-16. Yeah, it looks just wet with some snowflakes mixed in with the rain. The ground's not covered yet. Let's check on Cordele. Yeah, it looks like there may be a flake or two mixed in, but that's mostly rain in Cordele right now. That's right there at the I-75 State Route 30 exit off of I-75 at the Cordele exit. Spent several days right there, as a matter of fact, during Hurricane Michael. That was the only place that had electricity. All points south were down for days. And I think I do see a flake or two here and there at the Cordele exit. This is Leesburg. This is just north of Albany. And we do have snow falling there at Leesburg. So this is Albany. Let's see what we look like out there on 82. Just northwest of downtown Albany. And that looks like a snow rain mix. Should start snowing right there pretty soon. And that's Albany, Georgia, down there in Dougherty County. Let's go over to Dawson. The Dawson camera's not working. Cuthbert, let's see what we got going on there. Yep, ground's covered. It's kind of white there in Culpeper, Georgia. This is in Randolph County, Georgia. I'm not sure who the knucklehead was that made the decision to have a Randolph County, Alabama, and Georgia, a Lee County, Alabama, and Georgia, a Clay County, Alabama, and Georgia. And they're all grouped right there together in southwest Georgia. And then, of course, in East Alabama, just a few miles up the road, we got the same thing. I don't think somebody thought that through. But this is Randolph County, Georgia. This is down in Americus, Georgia. Coming down good there. Yeah, EJ, we don't expect anything in Rock Mills or Standing Rock or Roxanne. You may get a flurry or two once that really cold air sinks in the next couple of hours, but no meaningful snow for East Alabama or West Georgia. The snow really starts down there around between Opelika and Columbus, Smith Station, probably Phoenix City. That's where the measuring snow starts, and right there in Columbus, and from that point all the way down to this is Americus. We're seeing some good snow now over toward Forsyth, down toward Macon, and this is Americus, and that's what's headed to the southeast. Let's see. About how far south? Let's go down to Thomasville, Georgia. It looks like there might be a little bit of snow over there in the grass. Kind of hard to tell. That's in Thomas County, Georgia. That's way down south. This is downtown Thomasville. I really don't see much happening right there. It's wet, no doubt, but I don't see any snowflakes. Let's look at Bainbridge. Bainbridge looks like mostly rain. There could be a flake every now and then. I think this camera must be in a housing, and I think those are raindrops dripping off the top of the camera housing. I don't believe that's snow. Let's look at Donaldsonville. That's about as far southwest as you can get in the state of Georgia. And looks like pretty much all rain there. Just got a note from the National Weather Service that snow rates are decreasing quickly around Columbus. The main area of concern for a half-inch to 1 inch per hour snow rates is shifting toward the I-75 corridor south of Butts County. This area should be the focus through about 10 a.m. So snow should start to deteriorate or should start to come to an end there around Columbus. So let's trot back up there and unfortunately, we don't have a lot of cameras between those two spots. Let's go take a look at Butler. Butler, Georgia. That ought to be a good spot. And you can see that heavy snow is still occurring there. Ground is white. Trees are covered in white. Yeah, Joe, that snow in Columbus is going to be coming to an end pretty quick now. The heavier moisture levels are moving away from Columbus. I'll show you what it looks like. This is out there on US 80 east of Columbus. This is at Manchester Expressway in Muskogee County. Look at that. That is a winter wonderland photograph right there. But the roadways appear to be okay. It would appear that we have a very thin little stripe of maybe snow right there in the middle of the road. But the lanes look good. Again, that's just east of Columbus on US 80. Let's go back to Macon because I think that's where we're going to see the best snow rates over the next couple of hours anyway. And right there at let's look at the intersection of 75 and I-475. That camera's not available. That one is. Now, we're just now getting into the heavier snows right here. That's just north of Macon. If you're familiar with Forsyth, Georgia, the Georgia Public Safety Training Center, this is between Gypstick and the I-475, I-75 split. I'm going to take another quick break, and we'll leave this shot up there for you. We'll come back. We'll take a look at the radar. I'll show you what the best snow is. And we'll continue watching this develop. Big snow unfolding across portions of southwest Georgia over toward Macon, Perry, Americus, even down toward Albany and Dougherty County, Columbus. Some decent snow on the ground this morning. We'll talk more about it. Stay with us on Dr. Don's Weather. Dr. Don back in here with you on your Sunday morning, and this is pretty far north over in Georgia. This is up in Greene County, right along the I-20 corridor. This is at Lake Oconee. Beautiful snow falling right there at Lake Oconee in Greene County, Georgia. That's out I-20 east of Atlanta. I worked a tornado event here several years ago when I worked with GEMA. And now they're in the snow. That is beautiful, picturesque video there in Greene County. And we switch back to the radar. And that would be right there on the northern edge. For those of you watching us, maybe up here in northeast Georgia, that's wondering whether or not you will see any snow. Probably not anywhere north of that area. Greene County. Greensboro. Lake Oconee, right in this area here. You can see that snow moving through the area. But it really doesn't go much further north than about Athens. Maybe some flurries up there around Athens. Up here in the northeast Georgia mountains, our broadcast position here, Dr. Don's weather is right here in extreme southwest White County. There's Helen. There's Dahlonega. Radar is trying to depict a little bit of snow. But let me switch radars. Let's go to Atlanta. Oh, yeah, you can see that snow much better on the Atlanta radar out there on I-20 just south of Athens. Around Eatonton, some good snow right there just south of I-20. So from about Athens all the way back into southeast Alabama is where the snow is taking place. Up here in northeast Georgia, most of that's probably not making it to the ground. We may have some snow showers up in Helen. Let's just check in with Helen, Georgia. Back to live update. There we go. And I don't see anything happening in Helen. Radar says that there may be a little light snow shower taking place there. If it is, the flakes are so small you can't see it. But Helen's still beautiful, still decked out with all the Christmas decorations. Beautiful place to visit at 8:28 a.m. on your Sunday morning. That is downtown Helen, Georgia. That's Pete's Park right there. We're looking back north, back up toward Betty's Country Store, and we see nothing. Timmy, nothing happening in Roanoke. All the moisture, the best moisture is off to your east and south. Well, keep an eye on that camera. We've got some dark clouds up there, so we certainly could see a flurry or two in Helen, but yeah, nothing of any significance going on there. There is Brasstown Ball. That's the highest point in the state of Georgia. You can see some ice in the trees up there, but nothing happening at Brasstown Ball. That's looking north back up toward Lake Hiawassee up in Towns County as the sun rises. It's 18 degrees up there, by the way, so cold air is coming in from the north really quickly. And there's another look at where your snow is falling at this hour. You folks asking questions up there in Roanoke. You can see there's Roanoke, and the snow is way down here, stretching from about Dothan, Alabama, up to around Eufaula to Columbus, and then to the northeast up to around Greensboro, out there on I-20 just east of Atlanta, and then up to around Athens. And down to around Macon and Albany. That's where the better snows are occurring right now. And there's a look at Perry, Georgia, right there at the fairgrounds. And one of my snow helpers this morning. Knucklehead. It is 7:33 on your Sunday morning, and we're going to take this thing about another 15 minutes or so, and then we are probably going to end our wall-to-wall coverage. Nothing really across East Alabama or West Georgia, and the best moisture has moved on away from East Alabama into West Georgia. Let me go back to Columbus. Let's go to LaGrange first. And That's just south of downtown LaGrange. As you can see, there's no snow cover at all. We had some flurries in LaGrange earlier today before the sun came up, but no accumulation at all. That's right there at State Route 219 south at Pegasus Parkway. That is in Troup County. We're going to check I-185 because that's where the snow started, really just south of LaGrange. And you can see a little bit of whiteness on the edges of the roadway there and out in the grass. This is at I-185 south, just past US 27. And this is the Whitesville area. And again, you can see a little bit of snow in the grassy areas, but nothing significant there. Snow is maybe some flurries still continuing, but for the most part, that's Hopewell Church Road there on I-185 in northern Harris County. And as you can see, a little dusting in the grass, and the snow is pretty much coming to an end right there. A little further south, this is I-185 at Georgia 116 in Harris County, and you can see that the grass has a little more snow in it. As we continue south on I-185, this is at the 315 exit. This is the Mulberry Grove exit. And the ground is pretty much white right there. So right there along 316, the Mulberry Grove exit, and south is where the accumulating snow really starts. That's about 10 miles north of Columbus, there on I-185. This is Smith Road right there at Fortson. And again, we've got more snow on the ground here. Just a dusting to maybe a quarter of an inch. The trees are covered with snow. This is Smith Road, I-185, in Muskogee County. This is right at the Muskogee County, Harris County line. And that is Herbert Road. That is just north of the US 80 I-185 interchange. And this is the intersection of US 80, 280, and I-185 there on the north end of Columbus. I believe this camera is looking back to the southwest, and you can see that the cloud coverage is beginning to break up back in that direction. So the back edge of the snow, it's almost completely stopped in Columbus now anyway. But that's the back side of the snow you see coming over that part of Columbus. Now we'll go back over 80 right at the Chattahoochee River. Or we'll try to anyway. Here we go. This is right on the Alabama-Georgia state line out there on Highway 80. And I don't see anything falling. I do see brightening skies back off to the southwest. So I think for all practical purposes, the snow was done in Columbus. Now, this is the south side of Columbus, I-185 and State Route 85. And again, I don't see anything falling. I do see a lot of snow in the trees, and the grass is completely covered. This is State Route 1, State Route 520, US 27, US 280, just before the I-85 interchange on the south side of Columbus. And again, it's just mostly on the grassy areas. And there's Perry, Georgia, and snow is continuing to fall there. At State Route 7 at Hampton Court in Houston County. That's I-75 at US 341, right there at the fairgrounds at Perry, Georgia. Yeah, in Alabama, the accumulating snow started right there around Salem on 280. And just a dusting there. And then by the time you get down to Columbus, you've got maybe a quarter of an inch. Maybe on the south side of Columbus, you've got about a half inch. And then the further south and east you go, the more accumulation we have. That's I-75 at exit 109, State Route 215. That is between or south of Perry. That's between Perry and Cordele. And that's Cordele, Georgia, right at I-75 in Crisp County, Georgia. It's snowing pretty good right there. Let's go back up to, well, I'll tell you what, while we're down this far south, let's look at Ashburn. Yeah, it looks like mostly rain with maybe a little snow mixed in there. Let's go to the Leesburg camera. This is just north of Albany. Yeah, they're getting a good snow there. That's about 10 miles north of Albany, back up toward Cordele. That's just south of Lake Blackshear, if you know where that is. Those are big, wet, fat snowflakes. That's the kind of snow you need to get a good accumulation. And they could see 2 to 3 inches here before this is over with. Now let's look at Albany, and I'm going to go out US 82, about 15, 20 miles northwest of Albany, and good snow falling right there. That's at State Route 520 at Cookville Road, Oakland Plantation. That's in Lee County, Georgia. All right, this is out there on 82, just to the east of downtown Albany. This is out there pretty close to the Marine Logistics Base. And looks like it's still mostly rain right there, but that'll be changing here pretty quick. Again, this is out there on the southeast side of Albany. And right now it is still mostly rain. But you go to just to the northwest of Albany, you got all snow. So that'll be changing here pretty quick. All right, let's go back up to Forsyth, Georgia. They're pretty close to the Georgia Public Safety Training Center. Look at that. Pretty neat, huh? That's just north of Gypstick. I believe. I believe you go up and around that sharp curve, it straightens back out, and then Gyp Sticks down there on your right. This is looking south. Ground completely covered there. That's a little closer to Forsyth. This is on I-75. And that's pretty close to the Georgia Public Safety Training Center right there. And you can see the ground is completely white in Forsyth, Georgia, but the roadway looks to be in pretty good shape. It's about 10 to 15 miles north of Macon. This is just south of Forsyth. It looks to still be snowing pretty good there. That's I-75 south past Rumble Road. Okay. Conyers, Georgia, just east of Atlanta. Nothing. It's out there toward Walton County on I-20. Don't see anything there. That's I-20 just south of Social Circle. There could be a little bit of dusting on the grass there. Yeah, here we go. This is I-20 west before Fears Road. This is a little bit further east, out I-20, in the vicinity of Walton County, Greene County line. Or Morgan County, I'm sorry. Here's Morgan County. This is just south of Madison. So the snow appears to start right there around the Walton County, Madison County line on I-20. and it continues to the west. And we have vehicles out there slowing traffic down, crossing this bridge right here. How about that? This is the Greensboro. That camera's down. All right, this is downtown Greensboro in Greene County, Georgia, right there along the I-20 corridor. And it looks like they've had a pretty good snow right there. And that's the furthest north. I mean, there could have been some flurries in Athens, but this is about as far north as the snow line goes, and that's about a 2-hour drive from Cleveland, Georgia, down to Greensboro. There's Crawfordville, Georgia. That's also out there on I-20. That's in Taliaferro County. Let's jump north. This is Elberton, Georgia, in Elbert County. I really don't see anything there in Elberton. Could have had some flurries, but I don't see any accumulation there. Let's go to Lincolnton, Georgia. That's right there on the state line, South Carolina-Georgia state line. Oh, we got snow in Lincolnton, Georgia. Look at that. Those are big flakes, too. Lincolnton, Georgia, in Lincoln County. It's a live look at Lincolnton, Georgia. And this is up on I-85 at Livonia. This is in Franklin County, and there's nothing. And there's a look at beautiful downtown Helen, Georgia, up here in the northeast Georgia mountains. And there's nothing happening up there as well. All the moisture stayed to the south of northeast Georgia mountains for this event. And folks, we're going to wrap this up. We've been going now for several hours this morning, and we were looking at East Alabama, West Georgia, nothing across that area. Those of you between I-20 and I-85 in East Alabama and in Georgia for the most part. No snow, no accumulation. The best moisture has pulled away from that area. We now have snow taking place pretty much from Columbus to Macon to Albany, and that will be continuing across the southern part of Georgia up into East Georgia by this afternoon. Winter storm warnings are in effect from Columbus all the way over to east of Macon to about Statesboro out there on I-16. So if you're going to be traveling down into that area of Georgia, be very, very careful. Snow fell this morning in Enterprise, Dothan, Alabama. The ground is white down there, but no issues across East Alabama or West Georgia. So we're going to wrap up our broadcast this morning. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. I'll see you back in here first thing tomorrow morning for your prime time forecast here on Dr. Don's Weather. And we'll start talking about the next opportunity for snow across East Alabama and West Georgia. We'll leave you with beautiful live footage of downtown Helen, Georgia. Have a great day.